Yet another selector type are contextual selectors. These consist of two or more simple selectors separated by white space. I have several examples of contextual selectors in this file here, contextual_selector.htm. Go into the head section and you'll notice that there is a TD tag separated from an H3 tag by a white space. I'm setting that property color equal to blue. The contextual selector is constructed to show that the rule will only have an effect when the last selector, in this case the H3, is a direct descendant, be it a child, grandchild, or great-grandchild, or so on, of the first selector, in this case TD. In other words, this style will only be applied when you add an H3 style to the content in a table cell. The TD is obviously the tag for a table cell. You can see this in this example right here. I have a H3 tag inside of a TD tag inside this table, so the text is rendered in blue. Now directly below you'll also see some H3 text, but this is in red. So if the browser does not find an exact match, it only finds the H3 elements outside of the TD elements, it will not apply the styles dictated by the contextual selector. In this case, this text will be red because my rule up here says the color should be red if the H3 tag is found by itself. But whenever you have an H3 tag inside of a TD tag, color the text red. So those are these two examples here. Now up above I have another example of a contextual selector right here, #container, with a space separating the P tag, and then the property is color this text red. So this contextual selector involves an ID selector named container defining a division of the page, and this one is acting as a parent to the paragraph tag right here. So the parent is the ID selector, the child is the paragraph tag. So in other words, whenever you encounter, browser, a paragraph tag inside of this container division, color the text red. I have an example of that down here. Here is my container, this blue outline. I have some paragraph text inside of that container, ID container, so that will be red right here. Notice that I have some blue text right here in this table below this paragraph here. And the reason that this text is blue and not red is, again, the contextual selector only defines paragraph tags that are children to the parent tag, the container tag. Now this one is actually inside of this container, but I've also got another style up here that's defining content in the container to be blue. And that's why this text is blue and this paragraph here is red. So there you have two examples of contextual selectors. I use these contextual selectors a lot. They allow you to really refine your styling, allow you to define a specific style for certain elements of a page and not other elements. Gives you a lot of freedom and control over the styling of your documents. So there you have examples of two contextual selectors. Let's now move on to the next movie, and let me give you some tips for knowing when to use the various selectors that I've covered in the last several movies. This is often a point of confusion for my students. So let me next give you some hints and some tips for how to decide when to use a class, when to use an ID, when to use a contextual selector, and so on.